Hey everybody, John the Other here. Obviously. Today I want to talk about how thankful and grateful I am to feminism for all that it has done for men. That's right. All the benefit that feminism has brought for men. Feminism is something I've talked about at length in the past, sometimes very angrily, most of the time critically. Specifically, I've talked about the lying, the falsehood, the continued cleaving to disproved so-called facts, the mythologization of history, fraudulent history, revision, lying about people's motivations, lying about rates of commissions of crime, lying about who actually has power in society, promotion of harm, promotion of violence against women and children. I'm talking about the Duluth model here, which is the feminist preferred model for addressing domestic violence. I believe it actually promotes and continues the domestic violence that exists, although because it cleaves to a narrative of women are the victims and men are bad, it's really great for getting money out of people's pockets, which is why it continues to be used. The people trying to stop violence are just trying to get money and promote violence so that they continue to have viable jobs. I'm grateful for all of the harm, hatred, destruction, lies, and social dysfunction that feminism has wrought and continues to wrought. I'm grateful for all of it, because without that, men would not have woken up to their own exploitation. Men would not have woken up to the shit deal that they've always been getting. I'm talking now about the traditional model, the so-called traditional model. Now, in order to understand this, we use labels and then everybody has a different idea of what the label applies to. I'm going to go into a little bit of detail. The traditional model is, of course, where the man is the authoritative head of the family. He's the principal earner. He has sort of the esteemed job. The wife might not even have a job at all. She just might be the provided for mother, stays home, bakes pies, takes care of kids. In the feminist view of that reality, she's, I don't know, a prisoner or something. A prisoner who doesn't have to go to work while somebody else goes to work. She gets to stay home in a fairly comfortable environment, put DVDs and DVD players for little kiddies running around. Oh my God, that's so hard. It's such a difficult job. Meanwhile, the guy, the man, is separated from his kids. He's not really allowed to have weaknesses that he expresses. He's not really allowed to feel pain. He has to be the provider. That's his role, and he is held in some esteem as long as he's able to keep fulfilling that role of a provider / utility protector. But his human needs come last, if at all. That's a shit deal. It's a terrible, shitty deal. And we know it's a shitty deal based on the suicide rate. 4 out of 5 suicides are men. More than 90% of those who die in the workplace are men. But men would not have woken up to the shit deal that they had if it had not been for feminism getting as toxic, as hateful, as malevolent, and as destructive, and utterly socially poisonous as it has become. And I encourage feminists to continue pushing their goals forward, because they are what are driving men to wake up to the shit deal that they've always had. So I'm grateful. Now, a lot of guys in the men's rights movement are now talking about the traditional model, the traditional family model or the social model, as if this is something that they might embrace. It's, well, maybe nothing else is good for us, maybe we can go back to that. And while I think they're fucking dead wrong, I do understand the emotional drive towards that. In the modern feminist view of society, men are essentially a cancer, we're a plague. Masculinity is treated as a disease or a pathology. And so, men being human beings, obviously, just like everybody else, they need to have some sort of human esteem in the culture in which they inhabit. And so they are going, well, I'm hated and despised and exploited. Maybe I can just be exploited and not be so hated and despised. I think we can aim a little higher. I think we don't have to be simply the slaves who get thanked. I think we don't even have to be slaves at all. Utilities, disposable. It's not necessary. It requires a little bit of balls. It requires a little bit of, being able to step into the unknown and define yourself. Not have your identity afforded to you by the people around you, but I think it is setting the sights too low. Now, I wanted to also talk about the yes means yes law. It's sort of another, it's related, but it's another topic, so that'll be my next video. This is the law that was enacted in California, where sexual consent has to be affirmative and unambiguous and ongoing, which is like a really cartoonishly stupid way to portray how actual sex happens between real people in the real fucking world. New Hampshire is apparently going to adopt a law similar to the California yes means yes law, which basically turns normal existing human sexual interactions, turns those into crimes, so that almost all sex is now criminalized. They're going to do this in New Hampshire too. I think it's a great idea, and I'll explain why in my next video. Thanks very much for watching, and thanks feminists. Please keep up the good work. You are actually helping to wake men up.